You see, at the time, I had been a wife in a straight marriage for 19 years and was the mother of a 15-year-old boy. They knew I'd been on a gender journey, and I had recently asked them to use they, them pronouns for me inside the house. But being a man, that was a whole other level. I love dancing. So one day in 2018, I pulled on a large workout tee over my new binder, slipped on 2004 era capri yoga pants, and showed up to Zumba class. But two horrors struck me at once. One, I was the only student, so no hiding in the back. And two, we were facing the mirror, and I had to look at myself. My narrow shoulders, my wide hips, the hint of lumps on my chest. I almost gagged. The instructor was a friend of mine and had been begging me to come to Zumba class for months, but I'd resisted because it was women only. And I looked like a woman and sounded like a woman, but I knew I was not a woman. In class, I looked at anything to distract myself from myself. The instructor's feet, her back, her flowing athletic veil. I danced, but I was suppressing sobs the whole time. But about halfway through, I suddenly remembered a video I had seen of 3 men dancing a perfect rendition to All the Single Ladies in size 12 4-inch stilettos. And they were fabulous. I thought, men do this too. I locked eyes with myself in the mirror and pictured myself as a man, dancing a feminine-coded dance, and I could breathe. I finished this lesson that way, but the minute the music stopped, I was out of there. In those months, I had been inhaling anything I could about trans people, podcasts, YouTube videos, books, but their stories all seemed to start with, I always knew I was trans, and then they'd say what happened after that. But how did they know? What led up to the knowing? I pulled out a WikiHow page I had found called How to Know You're Transgender. I read it and wrote down all my thoughts. Here's a sample. When I was 3, my mom said, I can be anything I want when I grow up. I was ecstatic and said, yes, I'm gonna be a boy when I grow up. When I dream or picture myself in the future, I'm a man. And I always hated my chest. I did not comprehend why the other 6th grade girls wanted to, develop. When I finished, I looked back over the 5 single-space typed pages, and I knew. My first actual thought was, oh shit, I'm a guy. My second was, what about my husband? You see, at the time, I had been a wife in a straight marriage for 19 years and was the mother of a 15-year-old boy. They knew I'd been on a gender journey, and I had recently asked them to use they, them pronouns for me inside the house. But being a man, that was a whole other level. My son happened to come up to me right about then and ask what was going on. I'm not so sure about my gender. You're non-binary. Oh. He sat down across the table from me, put on his life coach hat, and said, okay, don't think about it, just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Who are you? Go. But, no buts. Just first thing that comes to your mind. Oh, I'm a guy, but your dad, There you go. You say you're a guy, you're a guy. Oh, I love you, bud. He added, please don't tell Dad until after my finals. He's not gonna take it well. I told my best friend next, and she didn't really get it. She asked me, why can't you just be a masculine woman? We need strong feminist women like you. I said, It's not that I don't want to be a woman. There's nothing wrong with being a woman. I'm just not one. Besides, we also need tender feminist men. It took me 3 weeks to find the courage to tell my husband. He said, "I don't care how you identify. I love you. But if you do anything medical, I'm getting off the bus." Off the bus? Anything medical? I hadn't even thought about surgery yet. Gender isn't about penis or vagina. It's about how you feel inside, where you see yourself belonging. When my school teacher said, "Boys line up to my right, girls to my left," I had to remind myself to join the girls' line. When I was little, I thought I would join Boy Scouts like my brothers, not Girl Scouts like my sister. And I thought I'd have whiskers like Dad when I grew up. I'd play dress up in his penny loafers and drown in his suit coat, my eyes alight with happiness. But I never once got into my mom's makeup. I hung on in the closet for another 6 months, but I could barely get out of bed most days, and my future was a gray fog. My husband and I agreed that for my mental health, I would come out socially, nothing medical, and see if that's enough. So I reintroduced myself as Will, he, him, and plunged into the trans community. But I still clung to the marriage. I'd been with my husband since I was an 18-year-old Mormon girl. He was my second kiss and my first and only boyfriend. He was all I knew. We insisted that we'd figure it out, but I only grew more depressed and desperate, and he grew more distant and colder, and refused to talk about my gender or a relationship. In that standoff, I met my friend Alex for brunch here in DC. After the third bottomless mimosa, my story spilled out, and I was in tears. I've just been waiting to see if he'll come around. He doesn't know what I'll look like on testosterone. Why can't he try? We've been together since college. We raised a kid together. We left the Mormon church together. How can he throw away 20 years of marriage? Isn't love greater than body parts? By then, we were both blubbering and wiping our noses, and Alex reached her hand across the table for mine and said, "Will, you're at a crossroads. I can tell you already know which way you need to go." And she was right. I just needed someone to say it. That night, I opened a new bottle of Tylenol and popped 2 pills for my hangover headache, and then thought I could take the rest of the bottle. That'd do it. Instead, I thought of my son and put the bottle away. My son needed me alive. Not long after that, I went on to a walk to gather my thoughts about how to tell my husband. I crested a hill and stopped at a crosswalk as traffic zipped by. Standing there, I conjured up a future where I inject that first dose of testosterone into my belly. I hadn't let myself picture it before. My heart ballooned with happiness, and a weight lifted from my shoulders. I felt a joy I did not know I deserved. The crosswalk signals beeped that it was safe to cross, and the little green man urged me to go. Go. It's been 6 years since then, and I have no doubt I made the right decisions. My son is 22 now, and he calls me Dad. And And I found a new husband who agrees that love is greater than body parts.